What's in the stars and the cards ahead for you this week? Welcome, welcome. We are in the energy of the pause, of what's called the well, goodness gracious, I need to get my tongue under control. My mom was a singer and she would say, hung in the me, ma, me, mo, moo. Do you ever do that vocalese exercise? All right, well, let me try that again. So, welcome, welcome. We are in the dark of the moon, which is a very beautiful time, very mystical, intuitive, a moment to pause, to reflect, to really tune into the power of the pause before we have the new moon in Libra tomorrow. And that new moon in Libra is really such a beautiful moon because it's talking with Jupiter, bringing opportunity in across your path. Really, Jupiter's the planet of abundance, good luck, fortune, expansion. And it is having a conversation with the moon tomorrow that is really asking you, what do you want to plant? New moon energy, where do you want to go? It's a cardinal energy because the moon and the sun are going to be in Libra, and cardinal energy is the beginning of something. It's a start of something, and Jupiter is there really helping you create. And I'll use the word change. It's kind of motivating, inspiring you, saying it can't keep staying like this. So we're going to talk about that. Mercury and Mars are teaming up and having really in-depth, deep conversations. They're going over strategy. And happy birthday to our Scorpio friends. Scorpio season begins on Wednesday when the sun enters into it. Wonderful time. And Neptune, the planet of intuition, spirit, really tuning into the mystical, the imaginary, the daydreamy even. Great creative time. He's been in retrograde, but he's going back into the energy of Pisces, right at a very critical degree, 29 degrees. So there is this opportunity to really tap into that creativity, to trust in the unseen, trust your intuition. So it's all about the sacred pause between chapters this week, almost kind of like that final exhalation before we start this new moon lunar cycle. So welcome, welcome. If we haven't met, by the way, my name is Irena Miller. I am an energy alchemist, spiritual life guide, and astrologer. And it is my joy to help you tune into the energy and rhythm of the cosmos, of the moon, so that you can stay in touch with your intuition, what your work that you're doing, whether you own a business or you're working in an office. It's to help you really know when to take action, when to pause, and really how to trust your gut. So welcome. All right, placing your hand on your heart, and definitely as you jump on, say hello. Hello, Sarah. So great to have you join me live. Missing you today. And we're going to tune into what is the most important message that you need to hear. I'm going to shuffle my little Halloween cards because we're going to use them. We're getting very close to Halloween, where the veil between the worlds is very thin. We're going to have to play with that. So just tuning in and asking, what's the most important thing you need to know going into this week ahead? The Strength card. Oh, I love it. The Strength card is all about knowing that there's a quiet, innate resilience within you, the ability to persevere. And it's very Mars and Scorpio like, because Mars is ambition, it's drive, it's your strength, it's your energy levels, the wanting to accomplish something. And when you have this card strength come up, what it's saying is that you have the drive, you have what it takes to get where you want to go. And you don't have to do it with brute force. That's kind of how the Scorpio energy comes in. The Scorpio energy, I'll say, is this quiet power that isn't always visible in the beginning, but it brings about great transformation, transmutation. It helps you really release what you no longer need to be carrying. And whenever we go into a new moon, it is kind of that moment where we reflect and we say, where do I want to go? And is, this, the resources, the way that I'm scheduling my time, my energy, the people that I'm bringing into my world or that I need to bring into my world or I need to kind of step away from, is this helping me reach the goals, or does something need to shift and change? Do I need to release something? But overall, if this week feels intense or rough at any point, and not that it needs to or will, but you have the strength, you have what it takes to accomplish your goals, and you can do it without brute force, but simply by being aware, quiet, observant. And when I say quiet, I really mean observant, like still waters run deep. You're taking things in. A compliment to this card could be the chariot energy, where it's real, Aries, like it's like I'm coming in and I'm taking charge. But this card is a feminine, intuitive, I'm trusting my instincts. I got a feeling to show up somewhere. I'm going to trust that I have what it takes to get through this. Very, very interesting. That's why I love bringing in the cards, because what I'm really trying to do here is expose you to a lot of different sacred practices and tools to help you speak the language of intuition, to help you connect with your friends in high places, your angels and guides, so that you can start to translate these intuitive hints and nudges that you're getting. It's great to get gut instincts, to see 1111, to see the cardinals, the feathers. But if we don't know how to translate that, what it means for you, because it might mean something different for you than what the book says, or, the person, or, the Google search, you start to develop your own dictionary. And that's what I bring my students through. I love to help them speak the language of intuition. So it's not just a party trick, but you're actually, people look at you and they're like, how do you always know, to show up at the right time? Or, you just seem to be so lucky. And I just think about it, I get chills. Okay. Let's talk about the week ahead. So the overarching energy of the week is we are reaching into that new moon in Libra, which happens tomorrow about 8:30 in the morning. Is right now on Monday, we're in this dark moon period. So use it for, be quiet, going inward. Like Sunday night, last night, it was funny because I'm usually a lights all on person, but I just wanted to feel the darkness. I had my little Himalayan salt lamps going, like that one in the background. And I was just sitting in my living room, and it was dark, and I was reading a book on my little Kindle. It was so quiet. And the darkness just felt soothing, healing, regenerative. And it's taken me many, many years to start to know that there's a positive and an upside to being in the dark, whether you want to think about that literally, figuratively, or symbolically. There is that time when you think about the bulb being planted in the fall for the tulips that'll come in the spring, or the crocuses. It needs that time in the darkness. It needs that healing time away from the light. If we're in that 24/7 light, like if we're at one of the poles, it's very hard to rest and regenerate. We need the sleep. We need the darkness to heal. So little things like that, when you become more moon aware and moon sensitive, you start to realize, wow, well, no wonder I craved that quiet time in the dark last night. We're in the dark of the moon, which just means that we're getting ready for that new moon. There's really no light in the evening sky. The moon is dark. And it's nice because it gives us permission. I find that I don't beat myself up as much saying, oh, you should have had the lights on. You should have been working. You should have been doing this. For me, it was a healing time. It was an unplugging, because it was a crazy, crazy weekend. We had a big birthday party for my daughter. She's also an October birthday. And so it was a lot of fun, but I was exhausted by Sunday night. Okay, so let's talk about the week day by day. Let's break it down. Monday, we kick off the moon in Libra. We're in that dark moon, but a Libra moon is about finding the pathway that feels just and fair to you. And I was thinking about this. I love to hold the door open for people, especially guys, because I feel like sometimes, guys are always, expected or holding open doors for women, and they may not have doors held open for them that much. And so for me, I really enjoy holding open the door for guys, more so than receiving. And I was giggling because I was thinking about that this morning. And I think that's the Libra in me a little bit, wanting to make sure it feels just and fair, that it's not like an expectation that I would always expect them to open up the door for me. But hey, I'll get it for you too. Let's make this fair. Let's make it feel harmonious and balanced, so that there's someone looking out for you as well. So that Libra moon, you might find today that you're looking for that harmony. You're looking for that balance in your life. And we're in the dark of the moon. So if you've been going, you might want to rest a little bit. You might find that you're craving your friends. It is a great day to get together with friends. I was supposed to get together with my friend today, but life happens and I'm going to miss out. But I'm thinking of her. And friendships, collaborations, it's a social time. Maybe you can talk with your friends if you can't physically be with them, but think about creating that harmonious balance. One tip today is beautify your surroundings. Get ready for that new moon so that you're starting with a fresh energy. Your physical space reflects your internal energetic state of being. So let's pull a card for Monday and just ask, how can you make the most of Monday's energy? And we're going to see who pops up. Ooh, the King of Ghost, which is the same as the King of Cups. So King of Cups is an emotional card. And now Libra is an air sign. And Libra is communicative, social, but that cups energy that's brought in is bringing in a little bit more of the intuition. So when we think of the dark of the moon, I'm going to encourage you, pay attention to your intuitive hits today. Mercury and Mars are having a conversation in Scorpio, which is a water energy. And I think that's part of the reason the King of Cups or the King of Ghosts is showing up, which is Scorpio is incredibly intuitive. It's a water element like the cups or the ghost. It's helping you tune into the deeper feelings and emotions that are beneath the surface that sometimes we rush past. And Mars and Scorpio having that conversation, so that's your ambition, your drive, your power, having the conversation with a planet of communication, logic, thought, is in a very deep scorpionic place, having deep thoughts. Scorpio is very private, doesn't like to share it with the whole world. So there's this strategy going on. And when you think of the Strength card this week, there's that quiet presence where you really are stepping into your power. You're claiming your power. So pay attention to the intuitive hits. Make some quiet time for yourself today so that you can receive them. Julie, hello. So glad you found us and glad you're here. Okay, Tuesday. Tuesday is the new moon in Libra. So for my Moon Club members, welcome, welcome. We are going to have a wonderful new moon ceremony tomorrow. It is one of the best new moons of the year. It's beautiful because the ruler of the new moon, Venus, the planet of beauty and harmony and love and relationships and resources, value, is in her happiest of places, Libra. She's very happy in the Taurus energy too. But she is there as we are having the new moon, which just adds this beautiful juiciness to this new moon that makes it a great time for planting seeds for ideas, dreams that you wish to come to be. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. We'll get deeper into that tomorrow if you're in Moon Club. And if you're interested in Moon Club, just really quickly, let's see if I can put it in here, but it's irenamiller.co/club. You can check it out and find out more about Moon Club there and what we do. But in the meantime, tuning into Tuesday's new moon in Libra, this particular energy is going to encourage you to note, and I'm going to say take the dark moon on Monday for that reflection, that inward tuning. What are the hits you're getting? Where are you looking to go? What is being ready to release? Because we'll have that new moon apex right around 8:24 a.m. And then like at 8:25 a.m., the moon goes void of course. So right after the new moon apexes, we have this void. And it doesn't last too long. I just want to remind myself of my little calendar here and notes. It lasts until about 11:42 a.m. Eastern time. So for that time period, basically from like, let's say 8:30 to 11:30, coast. Don't start anything new. Don't launch new projects. Don't sign any contracts or buy any new big things or commit. But use it as a reflective time. Like you got this aha intuitive moment. Yes, eureka, this is where I want to go and what I want to do. And then it's quiet. Just sit with it. Let it digest. Let it marinate. Because then after 11, well, it says 11:42. So I want to make sure that we've got those boundaries. Double checking. Yeah, 11:42. So let's say about noon. Then continue forward. And that's actually when the new moon ceremony is starting for Moon Club members at noon Eastern time. And you set your new moon wishes, do your new moon intentions. And we always want to set those new moon wishes right after the apex of the moon, not before. We want to catch the energy of the moon. So take the time, notice the intuitive hit, and then physically write stuff down of what you want to accomplish. Don't just kind of think it or type it or speak it, but write it down. It makes a huge difference, especially energetically, psychologically. We're going to pull a card and ask what's most important that you need to know about Tuesday's energy. The Empress. So the Empress card, Bride of Frankenstein, she's saying this is a cycle. It takes time. So what you are planting now is going to grow, and it is going to bring abundance, prosperity. This is a very fertile moment. And if you think of the dark of the moon, it is potent. It is fertile. The ground is ready. It's all filled with nutrients. Plant your dream. So think about it, meditate on it, journal and reflect on it Monday into Tuesday. And then Tuesday at noon Eastern time, start to plant and know that you are setting off a new cycle. And this new cycle, you say, okay, well, when might it come to fruition? Well, you can think about the basic lunar cycle where, like just from new moon to full moon. So that's 2 weeks. You can really think about the full Libra cycle where we have a new moon in Libra right now in the fall. And then we're going to have a full moon in Libra in 6 months' time in Aries season. So in the spring. So that's another gestational period. And then we have the lunar families or the moon families. And I love to dive into this in the Moon Club because essentially, if you want to think of a longer planning term, like a big cycle, because, there's only so much we can do in 2 weeks' time. And what I really feel like this Empress card is saying is this is a long-term plan that's going to come to fruition. So you really use Mercury and Mars energy here on Monday for strategy, for deep thinking, for having conversations with trusted confidants, because we're kicking off a 2.5-year cycle with this new moon in Libra. And it's fun. And we do this in Moon Club where we go back and we look at the moon families and we say, oh, wow, what was I doing 2 years ago when this moon was new? And you're like, wow, I started this new project and then this happened and then this happened and this happened, because there's 4 moons that we take into account over that 2.5-year period. It's a lot of fun. I don't want to take too much time away from the weekly energy weather report here, but think about what you're planning. And I would encourage you, think about it for like the next 2.5-year cycle. What are you building? It doesn't have to be built in 2 weeks. It doesn't have to be built in 6 months, but those are mile markers where you can kind of check in and say, all right, what do I know now? What do I need to tweak or adjust? What do I need to refine? It's a lot of fun planning and working with the moon. And there's a lot of nuances to it. The more advanced we become in learning the rhythms and the cycles. But in the beginning, just new moon, plant a new idea. Full moon, we're starting to release and we're starting to celebrate what we've accomplished and getting ready for the next growth cycle. Okay, Wednesday, the moon has moved into Scorpio and the sun is going to move into Scorpio. So much scorpionic energy on Wednesday. Happy birthday, Scorpio friends. If you are a Scorpio, please let me know in the comments so that we can celebrate you and say happy birthday. I've really come to love the Scorpio energy. It was tough for me when I was young, but it is interesting how it unfolds, because the Scorpio energy is all about transformation. They're the beautiful souls and energy that are able to walk in the areas of life that most of us hesitate to, because it can be heavy energy. It's a moment where they look kind of under the bed at night. They're willing to look at the spooky things in the closet. They might even be drawn to spooky things. They have incredible abilities of deep empathy and intuition. They are a great friend to have around during major transitions, especially in life. If something is ending and something is beginning that is very hard, there are friends who are willing to have deep conversations, who will hold our secrets for us and keep them. They are incredibly loyal and loving and so protective. They are slow to trust because they are very sensitive. And so that Scorpio energy is trying to protect itself at first by putting up walls, trying to figure out who can I trust, because when they let them in, the person, they let them in fully. And if you ever betray a Scorpio, holy cannoli, no, I would just, you just don't want to do that. Want to be very kind and loving to our Scorpio friends, because when Scorpios are betrayed or hurt, they burn everything down in the sense of, the betrayal is a soul wound. Scorpios will follow you lifetime to lifetime. They are incredible and beautiful, beautiful spirits. Okay, so Wednesday, the other thing to take note of is that Neptune, who has been retrograde, planet that helps us connect with imagination, intuition, develop our spiritual practices even, really can get into the spiritual practices even more. And I'll say develop them, yeah. He's going to be going back into the Piscean energy, which he feels so happy in. But it is going to be a time where things might get a little fuzzy and hazy. And then with that Scorpio energy, which is also very connected to intuition and feelings, I'm going to encourage you, do something where you create healthy energetic boundaries for yourself so you remember who you are and you don't lose yourself in the collective energy. That could be a grounding practice. Let me go ahead and share that one. And my mouse is being silly. But Irena Miller, keyboard here, .co/get calm. It's a 2-minute audio that you can download easy peasy or listen to. I don't know if it's downloadable, but you can listen to it, the MP3, and learn the practice. Really simple to do. I call it root flesh fell. And that's a way to practice good energetic hygiene, to make sure you're not carrying other people's energy around. You could go outside for a walk, barefoot on the grass, hand on a tree, but practice developing good energetic boundaries so you can start to realize what is your energy, your feelings compared to everybody else's. Because I think Wednesday's just a day where we might end up soaking up other people's feelings and emotions, and we might think they're our own. And then if we make decisions based on that, we'll look back and we'll say, what was I thinking? That's not like me. Was I in my, I must not have been in my right head. So great too for salt baths, like Epsom salt, anything along those lines. But let's go ahead and we're just going to ask what's most important that you need to know about Wednesday's energy. See who pops up. Okay, I feel like 2 are popping up. Very cool. So the 10 of Pumpkins, which is the 10 of Pentacles. And this is really a fat cat card, which I love. Look at this little guy. He's got like the piñata. Couldn't think of that word for a second. The piñata with all the candy in it. And he's going to hit the jackpot and get all the candy for himself. No other friends there to play with. This is abundance. It's prosperity. It's good luck. It's go ahead and play the lotto kind of thing. You might win. Who knows? But 10 of Pentacles is an abundance of physical prosperity. So that can be your resources, your time, your energy, your money. Wednesday with that Scorpio moon, practice a good energetic, healthy boundaries with any of the practices I mentioned so that you can start to recognize the prosperity and abundance around you and align to that vibration so that you can magnetize it more into your life. And how do you do that? The other card that came up was the 9 of Ghosts, which is the same as 9 of Cups. And this is get happy, be happy. When you're at a high vibrational, when you're happy, you're in a higher vibrational state, and it's easier to connect with the energy of the other side, with our friends in high places, angels and guides, loved ones, God, universe. And when you can connect with that energy, that's when you can hear the intuitive guidance with greater ease. Like, psst, go here now, psst, call so-and-so, psst, take this chance, and know that you've got the strength within you to make it. Wednesday's going to be fun. Holy cannoli. Thursday, the moon is still in Scorpio. So if your feelings are rising, like you feel yourself on that emotional roller coaster, then channel the feelings. Feed the Scorpio moon by doing something. This is the word that came into my head was moody. But have you ever gotten kind of like in that mood where you just want to watch something that just helps you kind of process the emotions and feelings. Maybe it's a movie, maybe it's a song, but I'm going to just encourage you, channel those feelings and channel them in an artistic, creative way. Maybe that's part of Neptune's influence, which helps you tune into the music and the creativity. Maybe you write poetry, you paint, you dance, you move your body, but just allow it to work up and out the emotion. Don't keep it stuck in the body. All right, how can you make the most of that moon? Page of Imps. So this is good old Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords, any of the pages are bringing information and news. And so this is inspiration. These are ideas that are coming your way. With that Thursday Scorpio moon, ideas and inspirations can come your way. But if the emotions kind of get stuck and they keep us all bundled up, what can end up happening is that the emotions can't channel through us. Think of it like a straw that has gunk in it. I don't know if you ever use the reusable straws. They drive me a little nuts. My daughter loves them. I just skip the straws. But trying to clean them, it's like, how do you really get them clean? Like, it always seems to have the gunk. You got the little pipe cleaner and all that stuff. But long story short, what the Page of Imps is saying is if the channel isn't clear, if you've got gunk in the channel, it's going to be hard. And the gunk can just be all the emotion and the feelings and the, just think very emo. Just, it's going to be hard to get the message, to get the channeled information. When I was going through something called the priestess process, it was very important. Our guide and teacher would talk about becoming the hollow bone. And the idea was we are channels. And you can imagine that beautiful column of light, the yogis call it the Shisham. It comes from the center of the cosmos down through the crown of the head, the throat, the heart, down through the solar plexus, lower belly, down through the pelvic floor, between the legs, and down through 6 layers of earth, connecting you to the center of the earth. So you're connected to the center of the cosmos, the center of the earth, and you can become a divine channel, channeling through that beautiful column of light. But if you've got gunk, if you've got these knots in your energy field, it's like kinks. Think of it like a garden hose. You're trying to, water your plants, and all of a sudden the water stops, or it's coming out in spurts. You're like, I got a kink somewhere. I got to go and undo the kink. And that's another reason why I love teaching energy practices like running earth energy, running cosmic energy, how to balance your chakras, and to use like crystals to help, tuning forks, all sorts of things. That's why I call myself an energy alchemist. I have been studying this for 3 decades. Although the 90s weren't 3 decades ago, right? Seems like yesterday. And I've been gathering, and I've been curating, and I've been playing and working with this with my students, with myself, my clients. And I do that so that I can bring you a very curated experience and create unique energy recipes that are going to help you in this moment right now. So with that energy on Thursday, I'm going to encourage you, become that clear channel. And part of that is working and allowing the emotions up and out. So any of the practices we've mentioned, getting outside, going for the walk, taking that Epsom salt bath, those are great places to begin. It's a great place to start. Friday, the moon is in Sagittarius. Things are going to feel lighter. They're going to feel more free. You're going to be like, oh my God, thank goodness the heaviness of the week is over. I'm ready to play. Sagittarius wants adventure, to get out, to explore, to run across the field, to just basically have fun. So Friday's energy, some of the things I'm going to encourage you to do is harness the energy of the Sagittarian ability for big picture envisioning. So whatever new moon idea that you planted, Friday would be a great day to brainstorm, to dream big, think about like the overall outline of what you want to accomplish and do. It can really make a difference. Okay, so how to make the most of Friday's energy. The 3 of Imps, so the 3 of Wands, which is a promise that your ship is coming in. You've already made the decision. So this is kind of the gateway that was passed through. And here's this little imp. He's looking up at the moon, which I love so much. And he already has some growth on his rod or his staff, and that beautiful fire of inspiration and ideas have turned into something, turned into opportunities. And he's already set into motion the plan. So that new moon, know that you've set into motion something, and that it is going to bring you back the goods, the return on your investment. It's really cool. The traditional card in the Rider-Waite deck, you have a merchant standing on the cliff looking out at the shore, and he sees his 3 ships coming in that are carrying all of the goods that they're bringing from across the world. So abundance and prosperity are coming in, but this is also a timing. This is saying we're waiting. We're not going to act too soon. There's one story that comes to mind. I always giggle at it, and I feel like there would be a better story, but especially anyway, sometimes we think we're there and we're like, okay, that's good enough. Let's just do it. But we find out, oh my gosh, we really weren't there. So if you've ever driven a standard or a stick shift, or you've gone skiing, you know that you're really not at the top of the hill until you're there. Like there's no like, oh, this is good enough. So for example, I went skiing one of the first times ever, and I'm not a skier. I've only been a handful of times. I'm like, I Love Lucy on the on the slopes. I was not made for it. And I went and I'm holding onto this little tug thing, because these are the free lessons in the beginning. And like you kind of go up the hill, it's like a bump, and you're supposed to hold on to this. And so we're holding. And I was getting so tired. It was taking so long. And I don't know if the snow was slushy or what, but I got close to the top and I thought, oh, this is good enough. I'm at the top. But on skis, on a slope, you're not at the top until you're at the top. And I let go and I knocked everybody down me like a bowling ball hitting a set of pins. Oh my God. And then this cute boy tried to help me up. He kind of put down the ski pole so I could grab it and come up, and I pulled him down on top of me. Oh my God. Great, for comedy relief, but very embarrassing. So, we have lessons like that in life sometimes to remind us you're not at the top of the hill until you're at the top. Don't let go. So that 3 of Wands, or that 3 of Imps, is saying, wait for the right opportunity, wait for the right wave. Don't jump too soon, or you kind of might miss it. Okay. Julie, I'm glad you're laughing. Thank you for all the emojis. I appreciate it. Okay, so into Saturday. Saturday, the moon's still in Sagittarius. So, Sagittarius is also about the wisdom, the knowing, the looking back and saying, okay, I'm wiser now. I've had the experience. So as I plan for my big dreams and my big visions, I can also look back, especially, when we look back and there are those times where we might beat ourselves up for certain things, like letting go too soon, or leaving the job, or staying too long. And you have that knowledge now, though. And there's something that, I love to move my body and exercise. That's the way I get my big emotions up and out. And so in the fitness world, they talk about exercising your muscles into failure. And you actually can't grow until your muscles hit failure. So the goal is to fail in the gym or in the exercise class or whatever you're doing. And it's such an interesting concept. And I've heard it before, movement and exercise has been a part of my life the whole way through. And that's in my chart. So I know that about myself, but it's just really finally settling in now. And you start to think, wow, well, if the only way for me to really grow and get strong, and I even say this with kind of like, I'm not sure that I totally believe it fully, but I can understand it and I'm going to play with it, is to kind of hit failure with the muscles. But there's also the interesting thing. I find myself right now with this workout program I'm doing, really not wanting to do it. And it's kind of like the first time ever where I'm like, ooh, I don't want to move. But there's other things going on within my chart that also help me understand why that is. So, we take all this into account and we're digesting it. We're students. It doesn't have to be all or nothing, right? We hear these things and we say, oh, okay, Irena said that. Let me take that in. Let me digest it. I'm not going to take it as gold or standard or whatever, I want to see if that rings like truth for me. Let me just work with it a little bit, and it might, and then it might not, and that's okay. So take whatever really resonates in your heart and leave the rest. Part of my goal is to empower you with the sacred practices, not that you have to rely on me for all the information, but to teach you how to do it so that you can walk through life in that sovereign experience. We all need one another, yes. And there are moments where we, kind of get really energetically off key and we need our friends to help us out. And we go to a teacher or a guide for that realignment or that insight when we're too close to something. But on a day-to-day basis, there's so much that you can do. All right, Sunday. So I don't think I pulled a card for Saturday. Did I pull a card for Saturday? Let's pull one just in case. Okay, how can you make the most of Saturday's energy? I got on a tangent. Ooh, Ace of Pumpkins. Okay, guys, Ace of Pumpkins is a gift of physical resources. Could be time, could be energy, could be money, could be like a check coming in the mail. Maybe you find $100 bill on the ground. I'm going to encourage you, shift your energy into that higher vibration of finance, prosperity, abundance. Be the energy of what you wish to attract and experience. It's kind of like dressing for the job you want, not the job you have. That doesn't mean going out and spending a bunch of money. It just means embody the attitude. The yogis call it bhava, the attitude, the energy, the spirit of what you wish to have more of in your life. Ooh, this would be a fun week. Okay, Sunday. Sunday, the moon is still in Sagittarius. Hopefully by Sunday, you're feeling a little bit lighter because I feel like this week, it's kind of like we're going into the dark. We're just allowing things to feel heavy, like a weighted blanket. Not like it's hard, but just very soothing to the nervous system. But we may not want to move very much. We might want to take it a little slower. But by the weekend, we feel that freedom. We feel the energy getting lighter. Okay, I'm ready to get out. I'm ready to play. The pause has served its purpose. So from here, we're going to just ask, how can you make the most of Sunday's energy? Ooh, I got them all jumping out. Hold on, who's coming? Ooh, the Nine of Imps. Okay, very cool. So the Nine of Imps or the Nine of Swords is saying you're doing a lot, my beautiful sweet soul. You are trying to do so many things at once, so many projects. And yes, you can do all of these things, but can you do them to the level or what's the word that I want? The ability, the skill, is the output going to match what your heart is really feeling? This is saying it's okay to let one of the projects pause, put it on a shelf, come back to it later, maybe let go of it completely, maybe delegate it. You are so close to the finish line, but if you keep trying to do all of the things, something's got to give, or something, the exhaustion and the burnout are right there in the wings. And I kind of feel like, okay, so this is like another movement exercise thing. I'm the type of person who loves to bring all the grocery bags in from the car at once. And it's a bit ridiculous. And you can sometimes drop things and break things. And it's not always smart. But for me, I don't know. You're just like, oh, I'm so tired. I've been running around. I just want to get this all in the house at once. And I read somewhere, someone said, oh, it's fine. Like, don't try to carry it all at once. You get more steps in that way. Like, just go back and forth to the car a bajillion times. And that appealed to my heart. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll get more movement in if I go back and forth. So little things like that. Sometimes it's just a change of thought or pattern. And that Nine of Imps is saying, okay, change your perspective, flip the script. You don't have to look at it in the same way or feel like, oh, I failed. Remember too, that's part of the way that we grow. So what project are you carrying around? What item? It could be an idea, a thought, because it's wands. It's not necessarily physical, but maybe you find that it manifests physically. Maybe it's the idea. I had a friend in college who always wanted to go out on Friday nights dancing, and I had a different practice that I like to do. And Saturday night was my night. I was like, I'll go out dancing Saturday night. But Friday night, I like to come home after a long week of school and work and just fall asleep and then watch the X-Files and have dinner and go back to sleep. That was my perfect Friday night. And then Saturday, I was out clubbing. But Friday was a rest night. And, it's just a change of perspective. It's like, I can't go out dancing all weekend long, even though I'd love to. Eventually it will burn out. So what do we need? What do you need in order to cross that finish line strong? So if you're still with me, give me a little heart emoji. Thank you so much for hanging out here for the whole energy weather report. I'm so thankful and grateful for you. This community is here because of you, and it is what it is because of you. And I'm so grateful that you are doing these spiritual, energetic practices, because it doesn't take the whole world to make a shift and a change, to make it a brighter, more loving place where people can be kind and compassionate to one another, to open doors, to offer a smile or a compliment. It just takes a few. And it's that majority of that energy coming together that ripples out, and it causes other people to pause, and it helps them to know that they're not alone on their journey. So thank you for being here. If this has been helpful to you, please do like, subscribe, share it with a friend. It helps the channel out so much. I'm so thankful for you being here, and it allows me to continue to share these practices, all of your support and your likes and your hearts. One last thing, what was I going to say? Oh, it's gone out my mind. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Jazz. Great to have you. Thank you, Julie. And thank you, Sarah. Much love to all of you. And I'll catch you all on the flip side. Remember to trust your vibes and follow your heart. And join us next Monday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, where we can come together. And I'll be here playing energy and the stars. Much love. You're welcome, Julie. Bye, guys.